Hello my dear sports betting friends, today we have a full slate of 15 games in Major League Baseball and let me provide a betting pick about each one. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm Professor MJ from Quebec City in Canada and holder of a PhD in statistics, which has been very handy when crushing the bookies over the years. Alright, first let's recap yesterday's plays. Now the 3 picks that I gave to you, there were 8 of them. The first 4 all lost, while the last 4 all won. Now given the odds of each play, we finished with a net loss of, it says plus $9 here, but there's a small typo. It is minus $9. So as I explained to you a few weeks ago, I always track the performance of my picks by pretending like we are risking $100 per play. So when we lose, we always lose $100. And when we win a bet, it depends on the odds. So if we took an underdog at positive odds, then our net profit is above 100. And if we took a favorite at negative odds, our net profit is below 100. So as you can see, we lost $9 yesterday, so very tiny losses. And of course, I need to talk about the famous lobster bets, which is the very best betting tip every single day across all sports. So the pick could be regarding MLB, the NHL, or the NBA these days. And since I started this concept of a daily lobster bet, we have owned a perfect 6-0 record. Well, yesterday's play was Fred VanVleet from the Houston Rockets in the NBA to end the game with under 3.5 rebounds. He finished with just 2, so we picked up some more profit. So we own a 6-0 record with the lobster bets. I will start selling the packages to get the lobster bets for the month of May in the comment section below. So you can click the link there to sign up for the May bets. It's too late for April now. Alright, let's get started with today's picks. First, in the Twins-Guardians game, I am taking the Guardians to win straight up. Well, yesterday I told you how Cleveland qualified under a betting system called the Stingy Pitchers and the bet lost. Now Cleveland qualifies again under that same betting angle, so I'm going to take another shot at it. Let me remind you the rules. Fade the road team if they won their past 2 games by allowing either 0 or 1 run in each of those victories, and if their money line today is smaller than plus 150. Now in the current case, the Twins have won their past 2 games by allowing 0 and 1 run respectively, so we need to fade them, and that explains the Guardians pick. I know that we lost that play yesterday, but this betting system still owns a nice 5-2 record this season, so I'm certainly not going to lose faith just because of a single loss. And also, I love the pitching duel here. Chris Paddack starts for Minnesota, and he owns a woeful 6.45 ERA and a 1.61 whip stat. And his opponent, Tanner Bybee, hasn't fared much better this year, but there's a big difference between him and Paddack. And that big difference is how they have done in the past 2 years. Paddack was really bad in each of the prior 2 seasons, whereas Bybee was rock solid with a whip stat of 1.18 and 1.12 in each of the prior 2 years, which is significantly better than the league average of 1.30. So to me, it's just a matter of time before Bybee returns to form, and I think it all starts today with a victory by the Guardians. Alright, pick number 2 concerns the Yankees versus Orioles game, and in this American League East showdown, I'm taking a player prop bet. Ben Rice from the Yankees to score at least a run. And right now we have very reasonable odds of minus 121. I saw those odds with BetRivers, Bally, Unibet, Leo Vegas. Now, one of the reasons is because Kyle Gibson is set to make his 2025 debut for Baltimore. Now, he signed with the Orioles in March, and he suffered from back tightness. And that's why he needed to make 3 starts in the minors before joining the big leagues again. He is now 37 years old, so he's not getting any younger, and he's going to face one of the top offenses in the majors. So it does not bode well for him. So I expect the Yankees to score many runs, and to me, after analyzing all the betting options, this is one of the best ways to take advantage of this situation. I think we're getting some pretty reasonable odds. And he's likely to be the second batter in the lineup. So I like Ben Rice to score at least a run in this game. Up next in the Cubs-Pirates game, I absolutely love this bet. Under 4.5 runs to be scored in the first 5 innings. Again, we're getting very nice odds, and I feel like we have a great shot of winning it. Perhaps like 60% chance. So at such odds, this is a good value wager. Now the weather is uncertain for this game, so I'm really hoping that they can play it. So on Chicago's side, Shota Imanaga is set to take the mound. He is a very tough customer. He's been very good since joining the majors last season, and he has a career ERA which is below 3. So that's fantastic, and a whip statistic hovering around 1.0, which again is great. So it shows that there has not been a lot of traffic on the bases when he has been on the mound. Now he did struggle in his last start, but that was against a tough Dodgers lineup and also with the wind blowing out towards center field. So the conditions were quite difficult for Imanaga. Now the Pirates own the 28th place in terms of the slugging percentage, so they are not very threatening for Imanaga in my opinion. But now, can the Cubs screw this bet by scoring a lot of runs in the first half? Well, obviously there's always a risk, and this is what I'm going to look at. So I'm really hoping that the Pirates can limit the damage. Well, the Cubs scored at least 4 runs in 4 consecutive games before only mustering 3 hits yesterday against the Phillies, and even though the game went into extra innings, so the offense really struggled, and I'm hoping that those struggles will continue today. They are facing Andrew Heaney, who has been great with his new club, as evidenced by his 1.72 ERA so far this year. But of course, the Cubs, they have the best OPS in Major League Baseball, but they are away from home, so I'm hoping that Pittsburgh can limit the damage, and I'm betting on the under for the first half of this game. Alright, so we have 3 picks already presented to you. My 4th pick concerns the Cards-Reds game, and this time I am expecting some fireworks. More precisely, I'm betting over 9.5. Now, Miles Mikolas was good in his last appearance, but don't let that fool you. He still owns a poor 5.7 ERA this year, and in the prior 2 seasons, his ERA was 5.35 and 4.78. So there's no doubt that he's a very mediocre starting hurler, and he is on the road. And on the other side, the Reds will hand the ball to Brady Singer, and I'm not sure I can trust him that much. I think he should give up a few runs, so I don't necessarily expect him to give up a boatload of runs to his opponents, but he's not a world beater, so I think he will still give up a few runs. So for all of these reasons, my 4th pick is over 9.5 in the Cards-Reds game. Now, my 5th pick. regarding the Washington Phillies game is a play that qualifies under the blowout number 3 betting strategy that I like a lot. Its rules are quite simple and they are contrarian by nature, which is something that I love when betting on sports. It simply recommends betting a team that lost its previous game by a margin of at least 11 runs if they are facing a different opponent. Now, in this case, the Mets crushed the Nationals 19-5 yesterday. So since the Nats are facing a different opponent, well, by following the rules, we must bet Washington to rebound with a much better performance. And now this is just a matter of personal preference. I've decided to go with the run line, plus 1.5 run line. So I'm getting weaker odds, but my chances of winning this bet are higher. Now, if you prefer to go with the money line, well, that's okay to you. That's okay too. Now, I know this is a bit scary because the Nats are facing Zach Wheeler. Here is something quite surprising. So far this season, Wheeler's ERA has been a bit worse than Mackenzie Gore's ERA. So Wheeler owns a 3.62 ERA compared to 3.34 figure for Gore. But still, I'm not kidding myself. Wheeler remains more trustworthy than his counterpart in this game. But Washington fits under the blowout number 3 system, which I value a lot. In fact, this betting strategy is rated 4 stars out of 5. So as most of you know, I have developed many years ago 19 baseball betting systems that have proven to work over a long period of time. Now, in the past 5 years, I've been tracking their performance to see if they continue to do well. And that's how I came up with some grading. And this one has done very well, so it's graded 4 stars. But it's worth noting that so far this year, it owns a bad 0-3 record. But I'm not going to let just 3 games destroy my confidence about this betting angle, so I'm still going to rely on it. So that's why pick number 5, once again, is Washington plus 1.5 in Philadelphia. Alright, now let's take a quick break by showing you a short clip where I played soccer dart in Punta Cana a few weeks ago when we traveled there with my family. It was a fun game. Let's see how I did on that day.
Baby. Así. Muy bien. Excelente. Vamos. Muy bien. Oh. 19 triple.
Alright, so that was fun. Now let's go back to business. And in the KC Tampa Bay game, I like the Rays to win straight up. I had no choice but to make that bet in this particular matchup for this simple reason. The Rays qualify under one of my 5 stars betting strategies, which is called the snapped winning streak. Let me share the rules with you in case you missed previous videos. It simply recommends betting the home team if the visiting squad lost its prior game after winning at least 5 in a row. Now, in the current case, the Royals fell short of sweeping the Astros, which halted their 6-game winning streak. So they are on the road, so by following the rules, we must fade KC because, well, the rationale behind this system is that the road team, they had a long winning streak, and once they lose one match, they might lose their confidence. It might be shaken. So according to historical data, they tend to lose a second consecutive game. And I'm hoping that is what's going to happen today in Tampa Bay. Another reason why I like this bet is the fact that KC owns a 3-10 record away from home. Tampa is only 9-10 at home, but I'm pretty sure that's going to improve as the season goes on. Also, we have Lorenzen on the mound for the Royals. Right now, he owns a better ERA than his counterpart, Taj Bradley. But surprisingly enough, Bradley owns a better whip stat. And as you know, to me, this is a better indicator of future success. So even though most people look at the ERA and they are seeing Lorenzen's ERA sitting at 3.9, which is much better than Bradley's 5.08 ERA. But to me, Bradley has been a bit unlucky this season, and Lorenzen has been a bit lucky. So I like the Rays to win this match. This betting system has done very well. Okay, up next, we are going to move on to another American League East division showdown between the Red Sox and the Jays. And in that match, I am betting no run to be scored in the initial frame at minus 113 odds. The screenshot that you're seeing right now came from Bally or BetRivers Sportsbook. I'm not sure which one of the two. Now, of course, we have two solid hurlers on the mound with Garrett Crochet versus Bowden Francis. Crochet is enjoying a good start with his new club after spending the first 4 seasons with the White Sox. He has struck out 44 batters in 37 innings. And he also owns an incredible 1.95 ERA, so hats off to him. Now, he is coming off his first subpar performance of the season with Boston. He gave up 4 earned runs in 5 innings, and he also issued 5 walks in that game, which is concerning. But still, he's facing a Jays lineup that is not that great. I think he could bounce back today. And Bowden Francis last year posted a 0.93 whip stat, which is spectacular. And so far this year, 1.19, which is still very good. So in my mind, we are getting great odds on no run to be scored in the initial frame. So this is what I am betting. Up next, the D-backs will travel to New York to face the Mets. And in that game, I'm taking... we can't see... there it is. I'm betting the Mets team total to go under 4.5. So in other words, I expect New York to score a maximum of 4 runs in that game. Now the Mets just demolished the Nationals 19-5. And it feels to me like teams that are coming off an offensive outburst tend to cool off in their next match. And in fact, I don't know if you recall this, but one of my viewers a few weeks ago, he told us about a winning strategy. I have not had time to verify if it does work or not, but he mentioned that teams that are coming off a game where they recorded at least 20 hits tend to lose their following game. So by using this strategy, you could argue that betting Arizona in this match is a wise strategy. And to be honest with you, I like it as well. But my official pick, like I said, is the Mets to score a maximum of 4 runs in this game. I believe Eduardo Rodriguez can keep them at bay. He has struck out 34 batters in about 28 innings pitched, which is great, while allowing just 7 walks. So this is my bet on this game. Alright, up next in the Milwaukee, Chicago, that's right. In the Milwaukee and White Sox game, I'm betting once again a team total. More precisely, I'm taking a shot at positive odds on the White Sox to score a maximum of 2 runs. Okay, so we have plus 125 odds with Bet365 right now. To me, that sounds like good value. because we have the White Sox, who have scored the second fewest runs in the big leagues this year, and they are facing a tough customer, Freddy Peralta. He has not given up more than 3 earned runs in any of his first 6 outings in the 2025 campaign. Now, his last start was his worst performance. He gave up 3 earned runs in 5 innings at San Francisco, but that could be a good thing because that will wake him up in the sense that he won't take the White Sox for granted, he won't take them lightly. So I feel like the White Sox will struggle to put runs on the board. I'm going to take a shot on this bet right here, the White Sox team total under 2.5. Up next, I'm taking the Ace with the plus 1.5 run line in Texas. Now, to me, it is tough for a starting pitcher to perform well against the same opponent in back-to-back starts. You know, they start getting used to you. So Jacob deGrom limited the Ace to 2 earned runs in 5 1/3 innings, while also fanning 6 batters in the process in his last outing a few days ago. On the other side, we have Jacob Lopez, who is still inexperienced in the big leagues, but he started often in the minors. So this year, he has made 3 appearances, all out of the bullpen. This will be his first start of the year, but he's not a stranger to being a starting pitcher. And I think he has a shot of limiting the Rangers' offense, who so far this year have scored the fewest runs in the entire Major League Baseball. So for these reasons, I like the Ace and the corresponding plus 1.5 run line. And now let's take another quick break so that I show you another short clip of our trip to Punta Cana. This time we went to a Japanese restaurant where they cooked the food in front of us. And one of the fun things was that sometimes the cook would throw some cooked eggs and we would need to try to catch it with our mouth. And on one occasion, he asked my youngest son, Jay, to try to throw cooked egg into his mother's mouth. Yes, they did it. Alright, so that was fun. Next, we have the Tigers against the Astros, and I'm going to take Houston to win outright at minus 106 odds, which is the same as 1.94 in decimal format. Well, so far this year, the Tigers own the better record and also the better run differential out of these two clubs, but they have not been the same baseball team away from home. In fact, they own a 5-8 record on the road compared to a stellar 13-3 record at Comerica Park. Meanwhile, the Astros have won 4 in a row at home. Although I have to admit that the pitching duel worries me a little bit. Reese Olson regained his form for sure. He has allowed 0 earned runs in both of his prior 2 outings against Kansas City and San Diego, and that was across 12 1/3 innings. Meanwhile, Houston will hand the ball to rookie Ryan Gusto, who has been good, but will it last? He is susceptible to some hiccups. He could be inconsistent. I know he's been doing well so far, but it makes me a bit nervous, to be honest with you. So this is not one of my strongest plays, but still, if forced to make a bet in this game, I would go with the Astros money line. Next, we have Atlanta facing Colorado, and yesterday we took the Braves to win the first 5 innings, and I'm going to double down by taking Atlanta with the minus 1.5 run line at minus 125 odds. So I'm going to roll with the red-hot Braves in this game at some pretty reasonable odds in my opinion. Well, the Braves have won 8 of their past 10 games. They are on fire, and they had no trouble overcoming a 3-run deficit yesterday at Coors Field. Now, let's talk about Colorado starter German Marquez. He looked excellent in his first start following Tommy John surgery, but since then he has been dreadful. In fact, he has allowed 21 earned runs in 14 1/3 innings. So if you do the math, that corresponds to a 13.19 ERA. What? That's awful. The Braves will counter with A.J. Smith-Shawver, who made the opening day roster, but then he was demoted after 3 appearances. And now he is back in MLB, and I think will be very motivated. His teammates will be motivated to get him the W. So I really expect a strong performance by the Braves. I think they will handle the Rockies pretty easily. So that's why I'm going with the Braves run line. Okay, up next, watch out because we have a pick qualifying under the lucrative scoring drought betting system. For those of you who have been following me, you know that so far this year, this betting system has presented a 10-1 record, and last season it presented a 31-14 record, and the year prior to that, we obtained 36 wins versus just 6 losses. It's been printing money for us, especially in the past 3 years. Now again, I often issue the same warning. I know that some people don't necessarily like it because it always points in the direction of a big home favorite. And I also hate betting low odds, but in this case, profit is profit. I mean, we've generated a ROI above 20% over many years. So how could you ignore that? Its rules are as follows. Fade the road team if they lost their past 2 games by scoring 2 runs or fewer in each of those losses, and if the road team is a big underdog, more precisely if their money line is greater than plus 150. Now in the current case, let me check. So the Angels lost their past 2 games. Check. They scored 0 and 1 run respectively in those losses. Check. And their money line today is indeed greater than 2.5 in decimal. So check again. So for these reasons, we must fade LA, and that explains my next pick. A high confidence pick on the let's go to the Mariners money line at minus 171 odds, which is the same as 1.585 in decimal format. Well, Los Angeles has been brought back to earth after a surprising 9-5 start to the season. Since April 13, they have posted a 3-10 record, and I think they will make it to 3-11 after today's game. And meanwhile, the Mariners have been headed in the opposite direction with a 12-4 record recently. Let's talk a little bit about the starting pitchers. It's really hard to get behind Jack Kochanowicz, who has posted a poor 5.47 ERA despite facing the Rangers and the White Sox this season, who are both very bad offenses. He did show some good things last year with a 1.19 whip stat, but for some reason he has been struggling this year. Now Miller will be starting for the Mariners. He is also struggling to gain last year's form. He had a 2.94 ERA last season, and this year it's 4.21. So what the heck is going on? But I'm confident this is a get-right game for him. He will get the job done. One of the problems this year is that he has issued too many walks. In fact, he has given up 14 in about 25 innings. But he has allowed just 1 home run in all of the 2025 campaign. So I am banking on the Mariners to win outright, even though the odds are low. But like I said, we've posted a 10-1 record using this system. We've been printing money by using it over the years. Alright, pick number 14 concerns the National League West Division matchup between the Giants and the Padres. This time I am going with no run to be scored in the first inning. Now both starters own an ERA which is below 2. That's incredible, so that's a good start. And yet the odds are minus 136 on this bet, which is reasonable considering we have two great hurlers on the mound. Well, the only time that Nick Pivetta has allowed more than one run was April 5th at Wrigley Field, where he surrendered 3 earned runs. Now, based on my numbers, the line should be around minus 155 in American format, which is the same as 1.645 in decimal odds. So to me, those are the minimum acceptable odds. That means if your bookie has a line that is better than this, then you have the green light to proceed. Okay, we have just one more pick to go. It concerns the Marlins-Dodgers game. At the current moment, it seems uncertain who will be the starting pitcher for the Dodgers, but my pick concerns Miami starter Sandy Alcantara. I feel like he will record over 4.5 strikeouts. But be aware of the fact that this is far from being one of my strongest plays of the day. Well, of course, Alcantara is still trying to regain his form following Tommy John surgery. He did look better against the Reds 6 days ago by lasting 6 innings on the mound. So that was a good step. That was a nice step in the right direction. Still, it is a risky bet given how he has exceeded 4.5 punch-outs only once out of 5 starts this season. And of course, he's facing a strong Dodgers lineup that is likely to score many runs. But I still think he will get it done, but I remain cautious about this play. So one last time, you can see here our 15 picks for today in Major League Baseball for April 29. I hope you really enjoyed it. A big thank you for watching this video. Please comment below. I would like to know what are your best bets of the day. Or if you want to be more succinct, you could share with us your very best bet of the day in Major League Baseball in the comments below. And you can argue with each other to share your arguments while still remaining respectful of others' opinions. So let us know what is your best play of the day in Major League Baseball. So a big thank you for watching. I'm Professor MJ, a former 15-year university statistics teacher turned into a full-time sports advisor because I want to help as many people as possible to crush their bookies, which is something I've been doing since 1999. So have a great day and I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Cheers, my friends!